This is a short tutorial aimed at students on the media film production, experimental film production, and advertising film and music video production awards at Staffordshire University. We're going to be taking a look here at exporting out an XML file from Premiere Pro, ready for importing into DaVinci Resolve so that the color grade can be done within DaVinci Resolve and then sent back to carry on working in Premiere Pro. What we have here is a finished project at Picture Lock. It has some graphics and titles on there, it has sound files and visual files, and it's ready to be sent out. But one of the things we need to take a look at on here is that our main interview along here, is made up of subclips. And when we're exporting out an XML file will struggle with subclips, so we need to consolidate our project before it goes across to DaVinci. So that's what we're going to do first, and to consolidate this project we're going to use Premiere Pro's Project Manager, which can be found on the File menu. And I'm going to go down to Project Manager, click on there. So within the Project Manager window here, in this resulting project section here, I've got two options: collect files and copy to new location, or consolidate and transcode. Because I want to get around this subclip problem, I need to consolidate and transcode. So the source for this one is the sequence. It's going to have a look at the files that have been used on the sequence, and it's going to transcode those files across into a new format that DaVinci Resolve can work with. In this particular case, we have three options on here, the top one being DNxHR/DNxHD. That's the one we're going to go for. Other settings that we have in here: options, exclude unused clips. Obviously we're not going to be grading anything that isn't on the timeline. Include handles. Well, we're not going to be editing within DaVinci, so we don't need to worry about handles. Convert image sequences to clips. Rename media files to match clips. I think they're already renamed on our timeline, so it can't hurt to rename the media files when they go across. And there's nothing to worry about with alpha channels at the moment, because in a minute we're going to get rid of our graphics and titles files and bring those back in Premiere later. I'm going to pick a destination path for it here, and if I click on Browse here, I'm going to go back to my folder where I've already made earlier on a consolidated folder for my project, so I'm going to choose that. If I wish to, I can calculate how big our finished project is going to be using this calculate button here, and it shows me here not particularly big. So I'm going to go ahead, click on OK, and let Project Manager consolidate and transcode my project. Okay, now the transcode is done, so what we need to do is close this particular project and then open the transcoded version of this project. So I'm going to go up to File and Open Project and navigate over into my consolidated folder, and there is my project file along with a whole bunch of consolidated files and transcoded files in there. So I click on Open, and now I have exactly the same project opens up, but using those consolidated files, those standalone files that will work with an XML. Because I'm going to be using this finished project here later on to make sure my titles and captions are still in the same place, I'm going to make a copy of it. So I'm going to go and right click on my sequence and duplicate it. And this sequence, I'm going to append the name so it says for XML on it. And I'm going to double click on it to make sure it's open, and to be on the safe side I'm going to close that original CrossFit interview there, because before we send this out to DaVinci in the form of an XML, we need to remove any files that Premiere itself has created. So titles, graphics, captions, slugs of video, that kind of thing need to be removed from here because they won't go across in the XML. So I'm just going to get rid of those, but remember the original positions of those are on that other sequence. So when we bring our files back from DaVinci later on, we can bring them into the other sequence and these files will all be in the right place. So now I have a sequence that's good to go. If I want to get rid of the audio from here, I can do. Just highlight everything and unlink it and just get rid of all the audio, because we're just doing a picture edit, we're just doing some color correction. If you wanted to edit the audio as well, then leave the audio on, but I'm just going to get rid of it. So now it's ready for sending out as an XML, so I'm going to go back up to my File menu and down to Export and across and down to Final Cut Pro XML. So I have here a folder for my XMLs that I've created earlier on, so I'm going to select that. If you've not got one, then set one up, and I'm just going to leave it with the same name as the sequence, CrossFit Interview for XML. So when I click on Save, it will now create my XML file. And I can now go across into DaVinci Resolve. Here's a project I set up earlier. And within here, I can now go to File, Import AAF EDL XML, select my XML file there, and click on Open. It will have a look at the parameters such as the timeline resolution and the frame rate based on that original sequence. Click on OK. It will have a look, see if it can find the media. If it can't, I'll get a media warning message, but if it can, here we go. It says there is a clip not found. Do I want to search a folder? Yes, I'm going to search that transcoded folder. So I'm just going to go find my project folder here. There it is. And there's my consolidated folder where the transcoded files went. Click on OK, and I'm good to carry on with my color grade.